The holiday that's actually being celebrated today is actually yesterday, on Sunday. It's Showa Day, which is a day to mark the Showa period. And it's traditionally considered kind of like an early beginning of Golden Week. We call it Golden Week because there's lots of days off in the next week. It starts with this day, and then there's a couple of more days we have to go back to work and school, and then the big, sucker punch of holidays which happen where you have May 3rd, 4th, and 5th, which all line up a bunch of holidays to give us a chance to have a nice little mini vacation in the middle of spring here. A lot of people choose to take off work for the first couple of days of May, and then they can kind of bookend both of those, the holidays bookend kind of a nice little clunk of time, and then people can go on vacations. So it's a really popular time to go places. It's insanely crowded right now. I would never try to go anywhere during Golden Week, but lots of people do. It's a popular time to travel. It's a popular time to go visit relatives. Because of the opportunity to have such amount of time off from work, it's a really great time to do things with dads, because dads usually are always at work. So it's kind of a really nice time of year when things kind of just get a chance to just be with family. The holidays are kind of strange, and it's kind of like with most holidays, and I think anywhere in the world, most people really don't know why they're celebrating a holiday, or they don't care. There's a lot of those holidays here in Japan. I mean, you have your fun ones like Valentine's Day and Christmas, where you give gifts, and so it kind of means something. But these other days, people, like in the States, for example, people get confused between Memorial Day and what's another one I'm trying to think of? I can't even think. Memorial Day and Labor Day, which are completely different things. I know the difference, but some people may not know or care, which is a little sad, I think. But I find a lot of people here don't know about what these holidays are. For example, Showa Day, that actually, to make things confusing, not so long ago, I think it was 2005 or 2006, the 29th of April used to be Midori no Hi, which is Green Day. But they switched it up and made that the day to celebrate the Showa period, and then they shifted Green Day over to the 4th. Go figure, right? So, just to make things confusing for everybody. And that whole thing was part of a whole move, which a lot of people are always struggling with here in Japan, which is how much do you celebrate and honor the people during World War II? I think it can be a challenge because, and I've always kind of found this interesting, to watch, because of course people don't want to, going around cheering the leaders who fought the battles during World War II. Terrible war atrocities occurred during that time. But the, innocent men, I want to say maybe, that were just in the military, whether by choice or because they were brainwashed or because, they were forced to be there. Most of those guys that are in the military aren't really trying to serve out their own personal goals when they're in a war. They're just kind of thrown into it, and I feel like their memory should be honored, because regardless of the cause they were fighting for, they gave their life, and that's kind of an important thing. But there's kind of the thing that's connected to is there's a kind of like an unknown soldier grave that is always a point of contention, because a lot of people never know if prime ministers are supposed to visit it. If they do, that means that they're saying that World War II and the military and the emperor was awesome, which I don't really think that's what it means, but that's how people take it. So it can be really confusing for a lot of people. And that's what the whole Showa thing was too. How much do you honor that emperor who ruled during World War II and then died just about 20 years ago, I guess it is, 23 years ago. Now, do we praise him? I mean, he was around for the after-war effort too. That's tricky, I think. It was a big, huge ordeal when that day became Showa Day. So that's kind of a new thing that's sort of hard for everybody to remember. But, and then the other holidays of Golden Week, you have the 3rd of May, which is kind of like a Constitution Day, where Japan celebrates their Constitution, and most Japanese know nothing about that, so or maybe I'm just surrounded by people who don't know anything, I don't know. And then, like I said, Green Day, the day to celebrate things that are green, things that are in nature. That's a big part of the celebration, and that's on the 4th. And then the 5th, May 5th, is Kids Day, Kodomo no Hi. And Kids Day is kind of funny because it's really only for boys. And and it's an official day off, which I always thought was kind of a funny contradiction because Girls' Day is sort of celebrated through Hinamatsuri, which is on the 3rd of March. That's not a holiday. That's not a day off from school. Only boys get to be honored with a day off from school, so that's some old thinking here in Japan. But usually you see people putting out koinobori, which is like the big fish wind socks. They put those out to honor the boys in a family and to encourage them to grow strong. It comes from kind of a fairy tale of the story of the carp that swim upstream, and because of their great strength they turn into dragons or something like that. So you try to hope that your son will grow strong like that as well. But lately it's kind of funny because Japan in general has sort of given up on the whole boys only thing and said, sure, girls, come on, play along with this whole celebration of Kids Day, because they want to make money. The stores are all in a big hoopla about selling toys, and you know, grandmas and grandpas, you have to hurry get to the store to buy a gift for your kids on Kid Day. It didn't used to be like that. It's really just been in the last few years that I've been living here where I've noticed a change, where it used to be really strictly only for boys. Boys got a present, girls were kind of just like, whatever, you guys had Hinamatsuri, go away. And but now it's really for both. So in some ways now it's a flip side. The girls are kind of getting the upper deal because they get 2 holidays for them and the guys only get 1. So not very cool. You never know how to make things equal, right? But those are kind of just a rundown of some of the fun holidays that we have during this time. Another part of Kids Day, I guess, is that some boys do have in their home little miniature versions of samurai armor, and it's sort of like the equivalent of Hinamatsuri by having all of the Hina dolls. They're elaborately made and they're beautiful, and they're usually in a really pretty case, and sometimes they only have the helmet, other times they might have the whole deal. Sometimes it might even be on a doll. But that's a real common thing that you might see put out. But again, just like with Hinamatsuri, that's usually only for the oldest son. Younger sons don't get usually anything at all. So, but they get presents. So, but you know, I'm just curious what you guys might do if you have a big chunk of vacation time. We always kind of like to just stay home and avoid the crowds, but we do take the time to play and have a lot of fun with our kids and stuff to celebrate just enjoying the day. So, but if you guys have any chunks of time, I know it's always good to hear what everyone else around the world is doing.